This morning I woke up and one of my first thoughts was, just give me a sign that it's working out. And then I remembered this topic that I want to speak to you about today, and that's change happens internally before it's reflected externally. And so when I was lying in bed asking the universe, give me a sign that it's going to work out, I remembered if I want it to work out, then I need to decide that it's going to work out. Then I need to make that decision internally about myself, about my beliefs about myself, that it will work out, that I'll make sure that it works out, as opposed to waiting for an external sign that I'm on the right path. It's like, it's up to me to decide whether I'm on the right path. It's up to me to decide whether I want to make my life better, not to wait for a sign to tell me that it's the right time to make my life better, or to wait for a sign to tell me that my life is going to get better. It's about making that decision that now I'm going to influence my life. Now I'm going to be the leader of my life, as opposed to being the passenger of my life. I'll be the driver of my life. And as much as I love manifestation and energetics and all that, what I don't like is outsourcing our power to the universe, the unknown, just this bigger energy. Because to me, it's always been, my belief has always been that we are the source of that energy. If we look outside ourselves and see external reflections or external opportunities, it's not because some grand force put that in our path. It's at some point we decided we either wanted that in our path, we deserved that in our path, that was something that we were destined in our path, and so then the external environment reflects that. For example, back in 2018, I was working a job that I did not like. I would cry into my steering wheel. Have you ever tried crying while you're driving? I don't recommend it. I feel like it's not very safe because you're there, I'm trying to see through the tears. Obviously not that focused on the road if I'm so focused on my emotions. But the problem is, at that point in time, I cried every day on the way to and from work. And then one day, something clicked. I realized that I was no longer going to let life influence how I experience my reality and my circumstances. I was going to be the one that influences it. I was going to be the one that took control of my situation. If I didn't like my situation, then I was going to do something about it. And the thing is, the external change didn't happen instantly, but internally and the way I showed up and the way I walked was so different. I walked different, I talked different. And then over time, different opportunities started showing up to reflect that internal change. I started getting leadership opportunities. I started closing negotiations a lot easier, which really, people noticed that. At the time, I didn't realize that visibility is such a key part to success, just side note. And because I had made that empowering decision about myself, naturally I just was more visible. I spoke up more. I seemed more confident. I spoke to more people. And through that, I ended up getting these external opportunities. And so it's the internal decision that I made. That thought affected my actions and then my behaviors. And then those behaviors and actions then resulted in these opportunities. These opportunities didn't turn up just because I was energetically aligned. Some of those opportunities compared to my life now still sucked, but they got me out of where I was. Yes, it was a pay rise for a role that still wasn't that great, but it was a lot better than where I was. And so our success and our direction in life is less to do with the universe and the quantum, which I love. I love the universe and the quantum and energetics and all that, but I don't like giving my power away to it. I like to see them as co-creators, as tools, and we are the ones with the powers to change our life. We are the ones to make the decision to change our life. We are the ones that are the reason our lives are as they are most times. And our lives are as they are because we've chosen to accept that reality. And if we've chosen to accept that reality, we can just as easily choose to not accept that reality and to change those circumstances. Because unfortunately, by constantly waiting for something to happen to make that decision to change, waiting for something to happen to make your life better, waiting for something to happen to start enjoying life, is what's keeping you stuck. It's what's keeping you lost. It's what's keeping you in the same cycles and patterns. And so that's why I wanted to share this with you, to let you know that you actually have the power and the strength to change your life, to change your reality, to change your circumstances for the better. And just because they don't change immediately and drastically in a big way as soon as you make that internal decision, it doesn't mean it's not working out. It doesn't mean you didn't do something wrong. And so it's also making that decision, but then not making the opposite decision to go back, as if, okay, I believed in myself for a day and now it hasn't worked out. Right? You have to keep making that decision. You have to keep reinforcing. I had to keep reinforcing that, okay, I deserve better. I am capable. I am enough. I am amazing at this. So of course they're going to give me a promotion. I'm amazing at this. So of course I'm going to get a loving partner. I'm amazing at this. So of course I'm going to get paid more. And so instead of waiting for job offers or someone to ask you out on a date or someone to offer you a pay rise or money, to decide that you are deserving of those things. Decide that you are deserving of those things, because of course you are deserving of those things. Decide that if you want those things, that you can absolutely have them. And there's nothing wrong with you that is stopping those things from happening. It's literally just like you haven't decided that you can have them. And you haven't decided that you want them enough to go after them. Because as soon as I really decided, like committed to that decision that I wanted something so bad, then I was willing to do anything, not anything, I was willing to work really hard until I got it. That doesn't mean exhausting myself, but it meant learning what I needed to learn, stepping outside of my comfort zone, saying yes to certain opportunities that led to other opportunities. Multiple times now I've been invited to apply for leadership opportunities. Actually, that's not true. I haven't even applied. I've just been invited to be the leader of that team. Out of my 3 leadership opportunities, I've only ever had one interview, because all of them were literal invitations. And the thing is, I didn't wait for those invitations to decide that I could be a leader, that I had the skills to problem solve and manage and organize and lead and give that direction. When I got the invitations, I decided that, and then the invitation showed up and reflected that. And so by the time I got these invitations to lead teams, it was like, oh yeah, of course. Like, of course. And why I think this is so important is because we're actually just making these decisions consistently throughout the day anyway. And so realizing that you already have been making decisions to get to where you are or where you haven't in life means you can start making different decisions. You can start making the decisions that, for lack of a better word, align. Let me think. Is there a better word? Align is so overused. The decisions that put you on the trajectory towards your dream life, towards the things you're wanting to build and create. Because that's another thing, which I'll do another episode on, is creating your dream life, not just manifesting it. Yeah. This is all about, I'm all about you have the power. Like, remember your personal power and the power you have over your life and to create your life and to influence your life. When I say make a decision internally, I'm also not just saying, oh, I want this. It's whenever this has really worked for me, it is a full-blown committed, this is the decision. I am so done. I'm so fed up with how my life has been. This is how it's going to be from this point on. This is my future. My life starts from this point on. I will no longer tolerate whatever it was that I was putting up with. And if you want to say it to someone, you don't need to, but it's kind of that declaration to yourself. Like, I always call them executive decisions. There's like all the decisions I make throughout the day, like maybe I'll go to the gym, maybe I'll eat this, maybe I'll record. And then there's the executive decisions that are like, there is no other option. This is what is happening now. So make those decisions. Be the CEO of your life. Be the CEO of your experience and make executive decisions about what you want to experience, about what you want to achieve, about what you're capable of, about what you want to believe about yourself. What do you want to believe about yourself? And then believe that. And then have a no tolerance approach to anything that doesn't, here's the word again, align with that. Anything that doesn't resonate, let me think of a more tangible word. Anything that doesn't support those beliefs and those decisions. So a no tolerance approach to self-talk, to other people's beliefs, to actions and behaviors and habits that don't support those new beliefs and decisions about yourself. If you're not currently living your dream life, it's not because you don't deserve it, and it's not because you're not worthy, and it's not because you're not enough, and it's not because you're not broken. It's not because you're broken. It's literally because you haven't decided that it's something that you can have and it's something that you can create. And so if you're looking for direction, decide first, as opposed to waiting for signs to decide for you. Because change happens internally before it's reflected externally. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, and I hope you follow for more.